So I had picked up this Disco Cowgirl 6x6 paper from Hobby Lobby recently. The only reason I had picked it up is because I wanted to make a friend who's out west a birthday card. And I just thought the pink hats and the cowboy boots would be perfect for it. But then I had almost all the rest of this Disco Cowgirl paper to use. So in order to use it up, I decided I'd make a mini album. It actually turns out that I made 3. Hi, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Album, and as part of our Paper Stash Smash, I wanted to use up this 6x6 paper collection. It had 60 sheets, 3 pages each of 20 designs, and you can see the designs here. It's pretty cute. The thing is, when I picked it up, I didn't realize that there was available ephemera, and there were small stickers, so I don't know if I would have purchased them or separately. And I think they also have it in the 12 by 12 collection at Hobby Lobby, where you get maybe 6 sheets of 12 by 12 and stickers and whatever. So what I had to do is supplement this with extra designs. So you will see what I did. Now I've made 3 mini albums, and I'm going to take you through. Today's tutorial will be how I made this. It actually is 6.5 by 6.5, and that was a mistake. I started out 7 by 7, and you'll see in the video why I changed this. So I did print this off of my computer. I just used something I found on Canva. I also found, I think it was in Cricut, this disco ball. And I don't know if you can really see it. It's hard to see there. That might be better. So I cut it out of silver foil, and then I cut it out of silver glitter paper, and I took a marker and colored some of those just to match with the colors here. Obviously you can see I used some silver foiling here. I printed Howdy out on my Cricut. I made some of these sort of stars because some of the paper goes along with it, and I printed out a little cowboy hat, and then I printed this. Now you'll notice that out of the 3 videos, each project gets more involved, so you'll have to look at the other videos and see what I mean by that. Let me take you on a quick walkthrough, and then we'll jump right into the tutorial on how I made this. So this paper was one of the papers from the collection. So was this. I just cut it about 2.5 by 4.5, and just put some things I printed off on top of it. It's a pretty simple album. So in the front I have a pocket with a photo mat, and then I had a lot of these 2-inch papers left over, so I made bookmarks, but they also could be good for journaling. So I just put them in the album, added some ribbon I had from my stash. Yeah, I printed that out on my Cricut. Again, images I think I found at Canva. Now, since it's a square album, I did do several photo mats that are square. Actually, all of the photo mats on the pages are square. I loved the cactus with the flowers in the background, and this is flowers. Now this I printed out. It's not exactly, doesn't exactly match, but it was okay. So what it is it's a 2 signature mini album, and each signature has a pocket open at the top. I show you how you can make a side-loading pocket if you wanted to, and then each page has flaps. So it's a real simple, sort of a one-sheet wonder. I used a 1 sheet of 12 by 12 white cardstock to make the page set. So with the 2 pages, that's just 2 sheets. So it just was really quick and easy. My whole idea behind this was trying to make an album in half an hour. I'm sorry, in an hour. Put it together in half an hour, and then put all the decorations on in half an hour. And you could do it. Now, what took longer was obviously the decorating. But if you have everything ready to go, you could do it in an hour. All right, so here we were. Here's this page. There's the top loading pocket. I didn't add anything onto this page just because I liked the images of the cowboys, and you probably can see the silver glitter accents on here. Not glitter, but the silver foil accents on here. That just sort of matched along with it, and I used the silver foil paper, just put some white paper on top of it and put this, but obviously left it open, just going along with that Disco Cowgirl, which, by the way, is a thing. When I searched Disco Cowgirl, search it on Google, you will find 1,000 things for Disco Cowgirl. Who knew? This I just printed out, just a quick little design. If I had extra paper, I would have just cut out a little square of it. Again, the silver foiling. I don't know if you see it. It's hard to see. I did make some lines around the outside of here and then decided I wasn't going to do that for all of it, so I left it. So you can see the lines here. I think it's a little more predominant. But here's more of the disco balls. And then on Canva, I found a disco sheriff badge. So I added that. This is the top loading pocket page. And I just simply used what I had, what scraps I had, and made photo mats. So you could put a 4x6 photo here. Is it 4x6? Yeah, it is. So you could put a couple of photos, so that would give you 4 in the photo mats, and then you can put more in the pockets. Again, I left this paper blank just because I thought it was pretty. This I printed off. It just sort of corresponded. Love the silver foil accents again. There was this flower on this cowboy boots, because that's cowboy boot paper. So I just printed out one flower and put it up at the top just so the page is sort of coordinated. And again, room to put 4x6 photos here in the back, another 4x4 photo. And again, the back page ends with a pocket. I left the back blank. I think I intended on putting something on it, but by the time I finished all 3 albums, I was out of paper. So that is number 1. It was very easy. I would say it would take about an hour. It depends on how fast you are. And if you cut everything all at once, you can get a bunch of these. So if you wanted to make photo albums for a craft fair without very much decorating, then you could use this to do. Like I said, the pages are one sheet wonder pages. There's just 2 of them. They're made with a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, and I'll show you how to cut that. So let's get into the tutorial and I'll show you. And don't forget, there's 2 other videos showing you different versions of the same kind of album. All right, let's get going. All right, so I'll take 2 pieces of cardstock that are 9 by 8.5. This is 65-pound weight. Whoops, we're not there yet. I'll put 1/4 inch double-sided permanent adhesive on one side. And then using the lines on my mat, I'll line this up. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. I'll burnish that. And then I've got 3 pieces of chipboard. One piece is 1.5 by 7. 2 pieces are 7 by 7. I've already put double-sided permanent adhesive on the back. And I'm going to do my best to line this up with the exposed edge of the paper on the other side. So it may not look perfectly straight. Now, since I'm using 8.5, there's only going to be 3/4 of an inch on the top and bottom. Now I'm going to take some 1/4 inch double-sided adhesive and put one on the top of the chipboard. Actually, one's on the right and one's on the left of the chipboard. And I'll go ahead and burnish. Do a good job of burnishing here because it's your best opportunity to burnish. Okay, and then I'll take one of my 7 by 7 pieces of chipboard, and I'm going to overlap that 1/4 inch double-sided adhesive just ever so slightly. So there's a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch. And I'll do the same with the other one. So just as long as it's parallel, you're good. I'll burnish on the back just to get a good stick on that double-sided permanent adhesive. And then I'll take my bone folder and find the edge of that chipboard and just burnish, just to help break the fibers a little bit, so when we wrap, it'll wrap nicely. All right, now I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and cut and stay about 1/8 of an inch away from the very corner of the chipboard. There we go. If for some reason, if you cut it too short, you can just take a little piece and cover it. It's no big deal. All right, now some people will at this point put double-sided adhesive to go all along the the chipboard, so the cardstock will fold over. I don't see the need to do that. I'm going to take my glue Okay, number one won't work. Let's try this one. Alrighty. I'm going right next to the chipboard, and then I'm going to go around the perimeter and zigzag. Go ahead and take my bone folder and fold this up so that glue you put right next to the chipboard will touch the chipboard, and then using my fingers I'm going to fold it over and burnish. If there's any glue seeping out, just clean it off your bone folder so it doesn't get all over the place. We'll do the same with the other side. And just burnish it. And just keep burnishing it till the glue adheres. Alright, now I'm going to do the short sides. I'm going to just take my bone folder and push in at the corners. Add my glue. And burnish. Fold this over. And do the same over here. Push that down. Okay. Push it up against there and burnish. And there we go. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and using this blunt tip, just burnish a little bit where the gusset is caused by where the chipboard is, and then just fold it. Alright, that's all we need to do right now. I'm going to let that sit while I go ahead and make the hinge. All right, we're going to cover the inside spine. I have cut a piece of cardstock that's 5 inches by 7. It's actually almost 7. It's 6 and 15/16 maybe. So I'll add glue. I want to make sure there's good coverage here because we want to make sure that the piece on the spine doesn't go anywhere. I'll add some glue on this side of the spine on this chipboard. But I won't add glue in this gusset where we have the double-sided tape. I will add a little bit on top of the cardstock that's covering the gusset, but I'm not coming all the way to the edge because I don't want it to seep in. Then I will add some around the perimeter here. Now, you have to work fast. I'm in a climate where it's humid, so it's not going to dry too quick. Then I'll go ahead and put this right at the bottom and make sure it's good there. And then I'll burnish first on that spine area. Just make sure that glue is distributed nicely. Then I'll go ahead and work in the gusset. So I'm going to go back and forth several times to try to break the fibers up of the paper so it'll fold and bend. You see this is coming up. That's okay. We'll take care of that in a little bit. You don't want to break the paper. If for some reason you do, if you can pull it off, pull it off. If not, if it's not bad, just leave it, or maybe even cover it with another piece of cardstock. So, and then I will lift up the side just to get the paper to go in that crevice and meet with that double-sided adhesive. Alrighty, I'm going to let this dry flat while we work on the hinge. I did crack it a little bit here, but the hinge is going to cover that, so we can just leave that alone. All right, so the hinge, I'll need a piece that's 8.5 by 6. We're going to keep the 8.5 side at the top. Make sure you're up against the side and up against the top. We're going to score it at 3 1/8, 3 5/8, 4 1/8, 4 1/2, 5 5 1/2. Quickest little hinge there is. So there are actually 2 hinges in the gusset, the 3/8 of an inch gusset. I want you to fold on that middle line between those 2 1/2 inch pieces, but I'm going to turn it over so the bumpy side's facing up and fold it there. Burnish it, and then go to the next one and burnish it. And I'm making sure that the sides are matching up and even. And then I turned it over, so with the bumpy side down, I'm going to just pull this to me, and where we burnished it, that's going to come up and make a mountain. I'll grab that, go back and forth a couple of times, and then just burnish it with my fingers. And I'll do the same with the other hinge. Just fold it, burnish it with my fingers, and then I'll make sure that the hinges are together at the bottom. Pull this towards me and burnish. Push it away from me and burnish. So then, so then when you see what it looks like on the bottom, these 2 pieces should be able to come together and make a nice little hinge. So I'm going to turn it upside down so the mountains are facing down, and I'll just zigzag a little to get some glue in, go across the top maybe. And I'm not getting too close to the sides because I don't want it to seep out. Now I'll turn it upside down, burnish it with my fingers, and just get that glue to distribute, and then push it away from me and burnish. And then pull it towards me and burnish. So you should have two nice hinges. So now I will place that. I'm going to go a little lower because this is 6 inches and our book is 7 inches. So rather than have 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the bottom, I'm going to go more 1/3 and 2/3 approximately. I just want to have more room at the top because we're going to have tags and maybe some ribbon. So I'll add glue to that line and then zigzag. And that's all I'll do for now. So I'll turn it over and just eyeball it. You do want to make sure that this is parallel to the side of the book. So I place it down first, then I'll take my finger and burnish from the top to the middle, from the bottom to the middle, and just get that glue distributed. Then I'll move this hinge over to one side and burnish it again. And then move both hinges over to the other side and burnish it again. Now we don't have glue here, so we'll do that next. Just put glue around that square, go right next to there, and then put some in the gusset. Probably didn't need to go that close to the top. And burnish it. So go back and forth several times to let the paper slowly break the fibers. Pull the book open, make sure it touches, and then burnish. Do the same for this side. So this will come up. I'll add glue right next to where that paper is, around the perimeter of this piece, and then in this gusset. I'll burnish it here. And then burnish. Okay, I'll let that dry flat while I work on the pages. All right, we're going to make the pages. So I have a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. At least I think it's 12 by 12. It may not be exact. We'll find out. I'm going to put it straight up against the top and the side. Make sure it's as straight as you can make it. And I'm going to score it at 6. Then I'll rotate it. And again, make sure it's up against the side and the top, and score it at 6 again. So you'll have a piece that has 4 6 by 6 squares on it. Now, what I'm going to do is fold this. I'm going to use my scoreboard just to make sure it folds straight. See, I'm thinking it's not perfectly square, but I can trim it if I need to. So I'll burnish on that score line. I'm making sure it's as parallel as I can get it. Then I will open it up and fold it in the other direction. Again, making sure that it's as straight as I can get it. And I'm going to trim off just a little bit So I trimmed off this much. Again, sometimes 12 by 12 paper is not exactly 12 by 12. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these sections and cut it. In this case, I'm going to use a ruler and a straight edge and cut right on the line from that center point. Make sure I got right up to that. I did. Okay. I'll fold these two pieces up. And then I'll fold on this line. So here is where the folded side is on that center piece. We have one flap here, one flap there. All right, I want to make sure I know where this open piece is. This is folded. Now I took a scrap of paper. I cut it to 6 inches. It's a 1 inch by 6 inch piece. And then I scored it at 1/2 inch. I'll go ahead and grab my scissors. I'll fold it on my score line. And burnish. And then I'm just going to miter. So I'm going from the fold line. I'm doing it again here. Going from the fold line and just cutting off a little piece. All right, again. So here's a flap. There's the two pieces. There's a flap. The fold is on the bottom. I'm going to put this, so you could do it one of two ways. You could either add it to the outside, which is fine because you're going to cover it, or add it to the inside, which is fine because you won't see it. I'll just add it to the inside. I'll do one piece first, slipping it in through here. So making sure the fold is right at the edge of the page. I've got this piece here. I'll add glue there. And so now this piece is closed on the bottom and the side. So we're going to take that. Here's our book. Going to burnish it, make sure the page opens now. Oh, make sure we have so this is the top portion because there's more of a gap between here and there. All right, so we have one page, the two pages together, and then another page. Where the two pages are together, I'm going to just dry fit it onto the hinge. So we open it here and just put it on the hinge. So you see how it goes. Now once you know how it goes, we can add glue. So I'll put glue on the top 2/3 of the hinge piece. And then again, open this up. Oops. And put it on here. So now it's on the hinge. I don't want it to, the bottom is hitting the bottom of the hinge. That's fine. I'm going to stay less than 1/8 of an inch, maybe about 1/16 of an inch away from where the hinge connects with the book, just so there's a little room so it'll move freely. Once I get it on, I'll go ahead and burnish. And there we go. So there's a page, there's the two pages, and then there's another page. Isn't that the fastest way of making pages? So I'll go ahead and do the same with this. Where's my folded area? So here's my open area. I'll add glue. Varnish, add glue here. Now, you may have realized that if you wanted to, you could have it a side loading page by closing off the top. Instead of closing off the side, and now that we have a pocket in the top, if you closed off the top, you'd have a pocket in the side. So you could do either one. Go ahead and add glue onto this hinge. And put this on here. Back it off just a little, make sure it's even on the bottom. Varnish it real well. Whoops. And there we go. So we've just used 2 pieces of 12 by 12 paper, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, and 2 are pocket pages. And there's our book. So we're going to decorate it now, and I'm just going to decorate it very simply. Now, the one thing about using 12 by 12 paper is now our 6 by 6 paper is going to be a little bit too big. So I'm going to cut off 1/4 of an inch on all of my papers and go ahead and add them in. I'm going to put pockets on the front and back inside cover, but I won't have pockets on the pages. We're going to make this real simple. So let me cut the paper and we'll talk about how I'm going to put it in the book. All right, so I've cut all the papers 1/4 inch, and I'm going to just start gluing them. So we have 12 pages, and I'm just doing the pages. I'm not doing the front and back inside or outside covers at this point. We'll get to that next. Just make sure they're all on straight. So there should be 1/8 of an inch around the sides. All right, so while you're watching me glue paper onto pages, I'll let you know that I went to bed that night after I did this part, and I woke up in the morning and I just didn't like my mini album. And when I looked at it the next morning, I think the main problem was the album was 7 by 7, the pages were 6 by 6. Usually that doesn't bother me, but it did in this case. So what I did is I actually pulled out the pages, and I should have done it on camera, but I didn't know how it turned out. But I pulled the pages out and I made a new 6.5 by 6.5 mini album with 1.25 inch spine and just glued the pages into it. So that's what I'll be working on from here on in. All right, I'm going to add pockets for the inside covers. So now my covers are 6.5 by 6.5. I have a piece of 7.5 by 2.5 cardstock. I'm going to put the 7.5 side at the top, score it 1/2 inch, rotate, score it 1/2 inch, oops, sorry, and score it 1/2 inch. So I'll do that to 2 pieces. Score it 1/2, rotate, score it 1/2 inch, rotate, score it 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and miter from the score lines, and here I'll cut across the 2 score lines where they form an X, and we'll do that to both of these. And then in the meantime, I've also cut a plain piece of cardstock just to make it look a little more neat and pretty, especially because I had ripped out the pages. And when I'm saying I ripped out the pages, I grabbed this, detached it from here, and just pulled, and they came out in pretty good shape. I wouldn't say it's perfect, because see, I had ripped some of the paper here, but this is all, that's why we're going to cover it. So I will fold and burnish on the score lines. And then I have cut a square piece that's 6 3/8 by 6 3/8, just again so I can neaten it up, if that's such a word. So I'm putting the flaps to my pocket, and then I will add glue to the back of this. And glue that onto the page. So the pocket, the bottom of the pocket goes to the bottom of the page, and there we go. There's one. And I'll go ahead and do the same with this one. So fold and burnish on the score lines. And then I'll put the pocket page there, add a little bit of glue underneath, burnish, and then glue this to my back inside cover. That looks okay. All right, then I'm going to add paper to the inside cover and the pockets. Okay, so again, since we're dealing with 6 by 6 paper, this is a 6 1/2 by 6 1/2 cover. So I've cut down some cardstock, 6 3/8 by, it's 5 3/4. And the reason it's a little smaller is because I cut a bigger piece from 12 inches for the cover. So the cover I cut 6 3/8 by 6 3/8, and then the offcut of that was this, about 5 3/4 by 6 3/8. So I'm going to put this pink piece on the inside front cover, and this will be the first layer before I put on the decorative paper. And then I've got this piece, which is 6 3/8 by 1 7/8. And I'm just using colors that match as best I can with the paper that I'm going to put inside. All right, here's another orangey color. Whoops, I didn't want this whole, see, this one is square, so this will go on the back cover. This is the offcut of that. So again, it's 6 3/8 by 5, probably 5 5/8. You could probably hear it's got a texture to it. So I'm going to put that in. So even though it doesn't go all the way into the pocket, all the way to the bottom, it'll be okay. So I'll put that on and go ahead and burnish. And then I used the same color for the pocket. Now again with this paper, so originally I did not think there was any ephemera. I've since looked and found, and you may remember the paper came from Hobby Lobby. There are stickers you can get to coordinate with the paper. Usually stickers are a little bit small. I didn't get them in any case, so I have had to make my own ephemera, but I'll get to that. All right, so now again, we have 6x6 paper. I took one of them with the cowboy boots and one that sort of corresponds. It's pink with texture, and you can probably see the metallic pieces that are gleaming. So this will go inside the pocket with about 1/4 of an inch all around. Oh, so I cut off a piece to go there that is 1 3/4 by 6. It's not perfectly square. I mean, there's an uneven border around it. I might cut this down. I will cut it down. We'll see how it looks. I could always add another layer, like maybe silver, if I wanted to. So I'm cutting it down to 1 5/8. And that's okay. There's a more even border around it. Again, it's not perfect, but it'll be okay. Put that down. And then I'll cover this. I was trying to have paper to coordinate with this. It's not exactly, wouldn't be exactly what I picked, but once we put a photo mat in the pocket, it'll be okay. So this barely goes in the pocket. And again, there's about 1/4 of an inch all around. If you don't want that, if you wanted less of a margin, you could use possibly a silver. All right, we'll do the opposite with that. So we'll have this lighter pink paper that'll go up at the top. Lighter pink to go on in the pocket. And then the cowboy boots down at the bottom. Alrighty. So now let me show you what I've done for the front cover. So I've been doing some work on it. I have to change this so the okay, so I've changed the color so you could see this a little better. All right, so we started out with the 6.5 by 6.5 album cover. Then I put pink cardstock that's 6 3/8 by 6 3/8. Then the silver metallic that's 6 1/4. Yep, by 6 1/4. And then the decorative paper that's 6 by 6. I printed out from Canva a frame. It's a rope frame. I put in a couple of cactuses, printed that out, cut it out on my Cricut, glued it onto this paper. And then I cut out on my Cricut the words howdy. I also had cut out this one. You see how this is a little brighter? I toned this one down with some Distress Oxide. It just was a little bit too bright. Then I added a cactus, pink cactus that I printed out from Canva. I also on Cricut found a disco ball. I printed it out, cut out all the holes, added some glitter to the holes in it's glitter paper. I used some alcohol markers to color some of it. You'll see a close-up picture of it a little bit later. And then added a cowboy hat onto that. I cut out a couple of these sort of star shapes, which were predominant in the collection. That's what, well, those were stars, but there were some pages with those star shapes sort of here. So I added that to the cover. Now what I'm going to do is decorate the pages, and then I'll show you what I end up with. All right, so we've already done the walkthrough, so you know what I end up with. But we were at 47 minutes. So again, if you do simple decorating, if you have everything all ready, you should be able to finish a mini album under an hour. And the thing is, if you're going to make ones for a craft fair, again, if you're using like one pad of paper, you can probably do 3 of them under 2 hours. Now still, that's a long time because I don't know how much money you're going to get out of it for a craft fair, but still, it's something. And you know, you just keep it simple. Don't do too many flaps and pockets, and it makes it quicker. In that case, use really beautiful paper because that's what sells at craft fairs. So that is version 1 of using the Disco Cowgirl 6x6 paper pad as part of my Paper Stash Smash for February 2025. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the other videos in this series to see the other albums I made using the Disco Cowgirl paper. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.